you guys? It's a beautiful day out there today. And sometimes I take a walk and the day is absolutely brilliant and I just feel like the storm clouds are in me, and it's hard to get a clear lens toward the loveliness and the brilliance and the warmth. And the phrase that just kept echoing in my mind this morning was turning point, the turning point, the turning point. Some kind of subtle shift in energy that just shows you a way forward, or, it's not about a big revelation. I don't think it's something more subtle. Turning point. And the other thing, I think it was Melissa Gilbert, who's the woman who wrote Eat, Pray, Love, said something about a kind of shift in a paradigm shift, or a shift in thinking about her life, where it was no longer by herself. She wasn't living by herself. She was living with herself. It was a turning point. I mean, that's a subtle distinction, I guess, but in some ways really not. That's when you suddenly realize you're not alone, you're your own best friend, you're the one who goes the whole length of the journey with you, and how you relate to yourself shapes how you relate to everybody else. If you're not friends with yourself, big trouble. Seven of Pentacles. That's a card of investing in the growth of something. Pentacles speak to growth and time and attention. Nurturing perhaps the self. Some kind of patience over time. You see this enormous, the root system is big. What's showing above ground is fairly small. So it's some kind of faith in over time, being able to see something through. Don't give up. Four of Cups. Cups energy to do with feelings and connection, and this one is a loss. Feeling lost, feeling the loss of a relationship, and in some way that might make room for this new thing to grow, for you to turn your attention toward your own life, Pentacles energy. And it's interesting because this person is feeling dejected, feeling it, Cups energy, dejected and perhaps numb. And yet look at that radiant rainbow coming into the cup. Their attention is elsewhere. Time and attention. Some kind of turning point energy. And this cup is being offered. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a hand proffering the cup. Counseling patience, I think. Nine of Swords. Air energy. Somebody who's, scared or anxious or insecure. Perhaps not being able to see what's being offered. This one really has the eyes covered. Not being able to see it, not being able to, because sword energy speaks to perception or understanding. tell us about the fear, the anxiety, please? It's like a personal doubt. Nines can speak to the personal. Like doubting, this person doubting their capacity to be patient and be able to nurture something in their lives because they're feeling numb or depressed. You know, their hands are kind of limp. Chariot. Card of Cancer, water energy. Fast forward movement in the realm of feelings. The turning point. Somehow coming into emotional alignment. And I don't know if it's with somebody else. I mean, it's, you know, you've got to do it for yourself first. Queen of Swords. You know, the sword here is the tiller of the boat. This one is steering their way, her way, forward to some new understanding. There's a courage involved. Moving out of this self-doubt, sword energy, you know, like an unwillingness to look at something. You know, and this is taking control. Seeing clearly the path forward that's emotionally aligned. This is not emotional alignment. And what does that really mean to be emotionally aligned? Well, I think it's well, let's see. I mean, I was going to say just to not create impediments. Sometimes there are things in the path. But there's also an implication here of being able to steer clear, like the clear vision business. To move out of anxiety and fear and numbness. I can relate to that. Queen of Cups. You know, this is sort of open heart, open mind. Those two in balance. That allows for this forward movement, being able to see clearly, you know, not having your vision obstructed by a fear that you can't pull something off, or that it's something to do with a prayer for an open heart that gives us the ability to move forward. Can you tell us about the Chariot, please? The forward movement. Chariot is a major arcana card to do with the powers of the psyche, and it's fast. It's some kind of unimpeded emotional forward movement. And here we go. 8 of Cups. That can be leaving something behind. Perhaps even this numbness. You know, there's fear around it. If you let go of numbness and you can feel things, you know, it's unfiltered feeling. It makes you vulnerable too. Somebody's willing to feel. Could be a same-sex couple. Could be two aspects of yourself. But there's movement here in Cups energy. You know, it's not about the status quo. It's not about stasis. It's somehow gaining the energy to come out of this apathy or numbness and receive the love. Receive it. There's a turning point. It may involve walking away from something, but towards some sort of different connection, something more balanced, full of heart energy. Is it this? I knew that was going to come up. Somehow that was this card was in my head. It's Five of Swords. It's a card of disconnect. You know, a failure to understand, a failure to believe. I can't believe what I'm hearing. You know, there's something about this. Fives indicate a need for change, and this is a change in a mindset. You know, it's not about just clear vision. There's something clear audience, clear the lines of communication opening back up. But at least for some time, there was an inability to move beyond the fear, to move beyond negative self-talk. That could be Nine of Swords too. Nine speak to the personal. You know, there's this flurry of perhaps self-talk that blocks the path. Turning point. Finding a new way forward, where the heart takes the lead. Six of Wands. That's power energy, Wands energy, personal power, accolades, success, being heard. There's a mic there. Interesting too, I'm just called to the fact that these appear to be the same person. And that their back is toward us, or toward, you know, they're turning away, their turning point. It's a turning point. Maybe things are opening up for you. This is a card of success as well. The victory lap. Something may have been really stalled out emotionally. Four of Cups. And then there's this turning point. Away from disappointment, away from numbness, away from fear. And it might be a message that you cannot receive through your thinking mind. It's heard by the heart. It's a willingness to receive. Page of Swords. It's like a reset of the brain, of the way we think about things. This is beginner's mind. This is a willingness to learn and curiosity. You know, often if we're caught up in some kind of triggering, almost panic attack place, if we can develop curiosity about it rather than, that can supplant the panic. What's going on here? You know, why am I so afraid? What is it perhaps I've not been willing to hear? Five of Swords. You know, the change, the turning point will happen when some kind of aperture is open and then you can walk through. It's sort of like rather than being cornered. Yeah, you're not cornered. You may feel like you're cornered. You're not, you may feel some kind of dead end energy. But there's some purpose to that, a certain path being blocked so that you can, the turning point, you can do some sort of pivot. Pivot. Eight of Swords. It's a card of feeling you're trapped or stuck. Your idea of yourself has somehow been skewed. There's an attempt at liberation here with these birds trying to undo the bonds. It might even be like a body dysmorphia or a failure to recognize yourself. Okay, on Queen of Swords, Nine of Pentacles. I was going to say knowing yourself, but it's more embodying yourself. Getting grounded, no longer in this panic attack place. $99 is 18. 18 is Tower in Major Arcana. What clears the way? Some obstacle that's in your mind gets blown up. There's a new paradigm coming in, a new one. Page of Swords. Seeing things in a fresh way with some kind of curiosity. How did I end up here? Trapped in the idea that the connection is lost. And what was at least lost temporarily was the connection to yourself, to your own heart. Not by myself, with myself. Eight of Swords speaks to an isolation. Four of Cups, a numbness. There's a turning point. You'll know it when you see it. Because you can't go forward in the old path. The old way is, there's a block. And that's a good thing. There's great self-reliance here in Nine of Pentacles. And it's something that we grow over time. It's nurturing the self. Nine speak to the self. This is somebody who feels alive. It's self-acceptance, self-care. Yeah, I'm just noticing 8 and 8. 8 of Swords, 8 of Cups is 16 is Tower. But we also have 2 9s. So there's some kind of sequential, whatever this is, this turning point, it isn't like a rapid pivot. It takes time. It takes the ability to nurture yourself. And there's something in the Six of Wands that strikes me as self-acceptance. I'm proud of myself. I'm like, if there's been an idea that that's showy-offy or bad, and you can't bet on yourself, that's a bad bet. Don't buy into that. There's a turning point. Oh boy, Three of Swords. That's hurt. Perhaps the memory of hurt. It's in sword energy. We have some negative air energy here. Eight of Swords, Five of Swords, Three of Swords. But, Queen of Swords cuts through the bullshit. It may be some of the, the negative self-talk or the self-doubt, Nine of Swords, really needed to be released. Some old hurt needed to be released. Because it's like, it's confusing, it's mixed signals, it's some kind of breakdown in communication. And again, it can be to do with the self. Like not hearing your own inner voice, the inner presence that would set you free. On Three of Swords, wow. Wheel of Fortune. That's another turning point. A change in fortune, a change in the path that you're on, the opening up of the, kind of the flow, being able to start fresh or begin again, or this turning point. The wheel turns. It's not static. This is kind of the static, blasted mental landscape that just remembers pain. And, better things are up ahead. We don't stay in that place of pain, nor really do we stay in an exalted, there's flow, it's dynamic. Turn again, turn again. Love it, Star card. Card of Aquarius. Being guided by the light. Having a connection to, however you want to call it, higher power, the inner presence. It's card of the collective. You don't do this alone. There are a lot of 9 cards here which speak to the self, but this is something we don't do alone. Our connection becomes stronger because we're not alone. Not by myself, with myself. Connected to each other on the basis of connection to your core, this place. Grounded in yourself, grounded in self-acceptance. Getting a clear lens. Something is really, I think it's this. What's mucked up the lens? It's like sort of discharging the energy of pain, however you can. You have the power to do that. 6 of Wands. Get a new perspective. Be curious. Move forward emotionally in a balanced way. There's a power in you that can blow past the block. We have on the board Cancer in the Chariot, Aquarius in the Star card, and that's it. And Wheel of Fortune, this progression. It's not stasis. We don't stay stuck. not by yourself, with yourself. It seems to me there's a suggestion here that you are your best friend. So if you're engaging in negative self-talk, second-guessing yourself, be gentle with yourself. You don't need to, scold yourself for that kind of mentality. It's really natural. But release it, let it go. Release it. The turning point. Okay. I love you guys. I'm releasing it too. Let's do it together. The card of Aquarius, the collective. Let's move forward. I'll see you next time.